Hello and welcome to Hockey Hypothetical, serious answers to silly questions. Each episode we will be taking preposterous scenarios that we've made up from the world of hockey and trying to produce genuine responses to the what-if questions. My name is Jonathan Fernley. I'm here with Stephen Dowson, and Douse, here's our first Hockey Hypothetical. What's it going to take for a hockey player to win the BBC Sports Personality of the Year?
Oh, that's a good one. Sports personality. I think the interesting thing about sports personality is it really has very little to do with personality now. You know, I think ever since Ryan Giggs won it, it was definitely not about vibrant personalities. It was about who do we think had the best sporting year. Do you see what I mean? Andy Murray winning it after winning Wimbledon, you know. You can always, like Lewis Hamilton after he wins a world championship. It kind of celebrates tremendous sporting achievement, doesn't it? Rather than a personality. You know? Yeah,
so that opens the pool up to all hockey players. It doesn't have to be Zach Fitzgerald. It can be one of the less entertaining players, perhaps.
Yeah, but what they have to do is something spectacular that year. So the only way I see it, when just the initial thing when I think about it, is it has to be a Winter Olympic year. Because I think the only way a British player wins Sports Personality of the Year is if we win Olympic gold. We stay in the groups that we are in now. We have the most tremendous run of all time, and we beat Canada, and we beat Russia, and we beat Sweden, and we beat the USA, and we win Olympic gold. And we win Olympic gold because Ben Bounds essentially stands on his head for every single game, or Robert Dowd scores a hat-trick every game. You know, not only do we win as a team, but there is a clear individual that you can say, yeah, that's the reason why we did it. The other part of that, because the problem with Olympic years is you often have a lot of competition, you know, because we would have to be the only Brit team that did well at that particular Winter Olympics.
Winter Olympic years are also World Cup years.
Yeah, so England will have to be knocked out in the group stages, or not even make it. That would be much easier, you know.
Beg your pardon. Winter Olympic years are European Championship years. Sorry, my mistake.
Still, you have to be knocked out. Not in the time at all. We'll have to forget how to skeleton. You know, give up snowboarding, and literally be the only positive in a bleak sporting year. And I know that's a lot, but I really can't see any other way of doing it. I mean, because I think if we won Olympic gold, we would be locked for Team of the Year. Like women's hockey when they won it. They won Team of the Year. And their captain got nominated for Sports Personality, but didn't get a look in. You know, it has to not only be brilliant team performance that captures the heart of the nation, but also has to be led by one individual just being incredible.
Just a couple of things there. Actually, the women's hockey didn't win Team of the Year. They gave it to Leicester City that year. Oh, yeah, but you were right to say that there was a nomination, and it was Kate Richardson-Walsh.
Right.
Now, they went with Richardson-Walsh because she was the captain of the team.
Yeah.
You were mentioning it had to be an outstanding individual performance from, say, a Bounds or a Dowd or whoever. Well, the outstanding individual performance was probably the goalie, Maddie Hinch.
Yeah.
And she didn't get a mention.
Yeah.
Now, other great teams have had two players mentioned. So you get Johnny Wilkinson, the guy who kicked the winning drop goal in the Rugby World Cup final, and his captain, Martin Johnson, finishing first and second. Mm-hmm. So it can go both ways. It can be the captain, it can be the star player. Mm-hmm. So that's certainly possible. We've had 3 Winter Olympic winners before. If you have to go back to Torvill and Dean for the last ones in 84.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then the previous Winter Olympics, Robin Cousins, gold in the figure skating. 76, John Curry, gold in the figure skating. But there hasn't been a Winter Olympic winner since.
Okay. I mean, that's option number 2, isn't it? That one of our amazing athletes also becomes good at another sport. And the fact that they're good at both sports means they win sports personality.
There's a hockey hypothetical. Which player from the Elite League becomes the best figure skater?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
we'll save that for another day.
Yeah, David Phillips wakes up tomorrow and goes, do you know what, lads? I'm really good at me twizzles. You know, I'm going to be an ice dancer. And he's amazing. And he wins gold. And he's part of the GB team that wins gold. I think that would be okay. Guy's good at 2 sports. Must be brilliant. Give him sports personality. But I still, even with all of this, and this is definitely not a detriment to the other GB players at all, I still think for the national consciousness and the way it's decided through a public vote, I think you need to have a dire year in every other sport.
2006. Okay. Winner, Zara Phillips.
Yes.
Runner-up, Darren Clark. Darren Clark was just a member of the team that won the Ryder Cup that year.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was emotional. There's a lot of stuff going on in his personal life. It made for a great story. But there wasn't an outstanding individual achievement there. Third place, Beth Tweddle. So, if you're looking at the main priority sports in Britain, 3-day eventing, golf, and gymnastics, they're not cracking the top 5 anytime soon.
Yeah, and that was a poor year for sport. 2006. Do you know what I mean? And I think even then, Zara Phillips wins it because not only is she fairly decent on a horse, but she's also already in the national consciousness. Do you see what I mean? I think that might have helped both Darren Clark and Beth Tweddle, because you may have heard of both of those. You know, any of our boys, they are not going to be a household name. You know, so they've already got that to go up against. Does that make sense?
Okay. I'm going to throw the household name thing out a bit, because I think there's a way you can win without being a household name.
Well, go on then.
Okay. Can you tell me who Jonathan Rhea is?
Is he Chris Rhea's brother?
No, he finished second in sports personality last year.
Oh my goodness. That's really bad. Who is he?
He's a Superbikes world champion.
Oh, so
from Northern Ireland.
Basically, you think that because actually we're a niche sport, the community would come together.
The community has come together a lot. That 2009 Ryan Giggs win wasn't the world saying, it wasn't Britain saying, what a great career Ryan Giggs has had. It seemed like it was all the Man United fans climbing on the bandwagon.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you think as long as we get on the ballot, we've got a shot?
Absolutely. There's a terrific story. If you go back to 1991, the sports personality that year was Liz McColgan, who won World Championships.
Yeah.
In athletics, won the 10,000 metres.
Yeah.
Now, she didn't get the most votes, because back in those days, you had to fill in the form in the Radio Times and send it in. Mm-hmm. What the Angling Times did was they printed a version of it and got everybody to vote for the best fisherman, which at the time was a bloke called Bob Nudd. So Bob Nudd actually got way more votes than not just Liz McColgan, but anyone had ever got before. Right. The fishing community said, right, let's get Bob Nudd to win this thing. Let's get fishing and angling right up there in the prime time.
This is where I offend a lot of people. Like, is
the
fishing
BBC
community that
decided
big?
The votes didn't count.
Well, boo on the BBC. But is the fishing community that big?
It was large enough for him to get more votes than anyone else had ever got. So here's how big the community needs to be.
Okay, go on then.
Andy Murray,
winner
in 2016.
Yep.
Now, this is when you can do a phone vote, or you can probably vote via the BBC Sport website if you've logged in.
Okay.
He got about 250,000 votes, so 250,000. That sounds like it's more than we've got hockey fans at the moment.
Yeah.
But last year, Mo Farah, his winning votes total 83,000.
Oh.
Now, the votes were a bit more spread out there.
Yeah.
So realistically, we've somehow got to get 100,000 people.
Okay.
Are there 100,000 people that will go to Elite League games this year?
Oh, I can see where you're going with this, but we've still got to get somebody on the ballot. Do you see what I mean? I think a community can come together and maybe get us in the top 3. You know, but I mean, Mo Farah got 83,000, and that lad had a decent year. Do you see what I mean? there was
just
lots.
another world championship.
Yeah, he'd been all right, hadn't he? So I still think you need that individual piece of brilliance, and I think the only way that will be nationally recognised is an Olympic gold. Do you see what I mean? I mean, you could look at David Clarke, you could look at Jonathan Phillips. Like, these are fantastic British personalities in hockey who have won countless titles, led their teams, been amazing, but you wouldn't think they'd get a sniff at sports personality, no matter how deserving I think they would be. They need to also have that element of being a hero, and then the hockey community. And that's the other thing. I think the hockey community would have to come together as one to say that this person is worthy. And I think they could only do that wearing Team GB, because we have some amazing rivalries in this sport. And I don't know many Steelers fans that would vote for David Clarke to be sports personality. I know you would. You love David Clarke. But, you know, I don't think there are many Steelers fans who would vote for David Clarke to be sports personality of the year, and vice versa for Jonathan Phillips. It would have to be then, because of their British heroics, he says.
Does it have to be Team GB? Let's imagine a scenario, because this is hockey hypothetical after all, where in 2 or 3 years' time, a still young Liam Kirk scores the winner in the Stanley Cup final for the Coyotes.
Oh.
Is that enough to get a nomination? Because that's going to be major sporting news.
Yeah.
Is that going to get him into the top 12? Because once he's in the top 12, then the hockey community can do their work.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's made the team, that's another big story. We saw that getting drafted was a big story.
Yeah.
It'll get bigger if he actually plays his first game. If he starts scoring goals and making a difference, the word's going to spread.
I think the problem you would still have is you'd still need to have a pretty rubbish year for sport. Because, you know, a British-born player has just won the Super Bowl, haven't they?
Yes, Jay Ajayi, London-born, running back for the Philadelphia Eagles.
And the British media haven't gone as loco as I thought they would over Jay. Because, I mean, he grew up and then played at Wembley, and, you know, he's a local hero and all that, and he's got a ring. He's got more than what a lot of professionals will ever have in their life. And he's not getting a sniff.
Is it because, though, that in the Super Bowl, he wasn't the star? He didn't score the winning touchdown or even the iconic touchdown. So that one game a year that casual NFL fans watch, he didn't really play a big part in it.
No.
But had he scored the winning touchdown that put them in front with 2 minutes to go, and the one that would be replayed, maybe he then becomes the headline rather than Eagles win a classic. Maybe it's British-born Ajayi wins it for the Eagles.
True, but then you're still saying maybe, and we're talking about NFL, which has, I would say, at least a bigger casual fan base in this country than hockey. So I still think you're struggling, even if Liam Kirk does what we all think he can do and becomes an absolute superstar in the National Hockey League. I still think, even if he scored the winning goal, I think it would get coverage. I'd still think he'd need a good year of other sports not performing the way you'd want them to. Because here's the thing, with your 12, again, let's say it's the next winter. Oh, well, maybe. Because then you wouldn't need a Winter Olympics, as per se. But you'd still need a lot of other sports not to have such a great year. I still think that. But I do like the idea of Liam Kirk winning